Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue unpacking some classical China era's character. Today's special character is Shu. And we don't see this character that much as translated to English, like I Ching. Like at least we know the E is the Y-I pronunciation, but also in English we can use just E I itself to represent that. That means change, right? And here, shoot, tactics, it becomes more a little bit abstract, right? What do you mean by tactics? And how do you express that? We know overall we have strategies and tactics, but Chinese use shu to represent tactics. So I guess it's about approach of things, the ways you go about it. And Chinese actually use the meaning of finding the pathways, finding the route to it by using this ancient character that symbolize uh, urban pathways. So I guess in the urban planning, probably ancient times was fascinating to the urban planners back then. And they came up with this intricate, like a network of ways, right? I mean, in America, some places are very rational. Like, okay, they have street number first, second, and all the way, right? And then they have avenue, use A, B, C, D, right? Create a kind of a grid line. So you kind of, as long as you know the orientation, you can quickly map out the grid line of exactly where you are within that city. Things get simple. But I guess in ancient times, because oftentimes the gathering of humans to form a township does not often happens in a kind of a flat place and things are just go straight. They may, curves around like those European organically formed European towns that before city planner to lay out before anything happened from a blank page, this grid line kind of township. So ancient times probably is more natural flow of pathways. And so ancient city or township road network is expressed by this. So this is sticky rice. So the sticky rice expressed by the crop symbol, we came across many times this. I'm not going deep into that, but basically this, you can see the draping of the crop, and that means it's ready to be harvested. So this is crop. So something, not only a plant, but this for sure is edible. This dripping signals to humans ready to be used. Either you eat by your own family or you trade it, or tax payment. So this is crop symbol. The right side is sticky. We have this finger hand symbol, and then you have something in between the fingers. So it's obviously something stick into your hand, and then you have two sides here. That could also mean something like sticking in there. I don't exactly know. It could be more other meanings in there to emphasize by your wrist. There are some extra things in there, but the whole thing later day we kind of reverse engineer a little bit to find out what that is. But later day, the whole combination of this crop plus this rice sticking between your fingers and around your wrist is sticky rice. And sticky rice, my theory, is what's used as the ancient times of in today's equivalent of asphalt pavement construction. So the gravels need to be stick together to form a kind of a sturdy road and not easily being dispersed by either humans stepping over it or horses trampling over it. So this sticky rice was served as the main ingredients to, I mean, is it organic? Isn't that nice? It's not a derivative from oil, but it's from rice, from plant-based that put into the sticky rice, put into this between the fillers of this gravel to form such pathways in the ancient cities, so things are not dusty, and you know where to track on. So this pathways in ancient cities then eventually means tactics. Why? Because you probably heard of like to do business in China, you have to know guanxi, you have to know relationship, you have to know which door to knock on. So, to have the right connections and to pull the right strings at the right moment is probably, hit or miss and can be, your failure points or not, or your, success factor. So that finding the right pathway in the intricate city, eventually lead to the right door to knock on to establish the right connection or, have the right influence to lobby for you of whatever enterprise or things you want to build. That became the representation of the tactics, basically how to approach it, how to map out where you go, how to navigate this labyrinth of power. And I would guess this is probably capital pathway. It's not just anywhere. It's the intricate pathways in a capital where is the condensation of power that to do achieve anything, go anywhere, you have to go pick your pathways correctly. Long-winded, but you see the traditional Chinese have this walking symbol, and walking associated with the sticky rice together compose the ancient pavement in a city, and that extended into finding a pathway, therefore finding the right approach or tactics. And simplified Chinese simply keep it very simple. Basically, it's the word symbol. Instead of having this top dot banded leftward, they add additional, like a detached dot on the top right. So I don't know who did that, but that lived to be the current serving simplified Chinese version of tactic. And, for me, it doesn't really make much sense. Like, why the tree with something on top of it means tactics? Like, I cannot even further think. But over here, I can kind of explain away what's the logic behind it. Okay, 学术, 话术, 手术, study tactics, speech tactics, hand tactics. If you just see word by word, this character combinations, it can hardly make sense. Like, well, okay, for study tactics, okay, it's about how you learn. The art of learning, so to speak, a favorite book one of the favorite books I'm currently reading, The Art of Learning, could be like that. But actually, Chinese map the 学术, study tactics to academics. 学术 becomes a tactics, like how you approach study and to research in that field. This concept of academics, Chinese map it to 学术. It's a 术, it's a tactics. So basically, it's almost like by this framework, 学术 academics in Chinese won't go any deeper. It's only at a tactical level. Publish or perish, only that level. Okay, 话术, speech tactics, rhetorics in English. It's interesting that Chinese translate rhetorics as 话术 is almost like the way to build your argument, right? So you definitely have to think what to say first, how to precondition your next idea. So which idea leads to what idea? So this construct of your speech, that 话术, eventually kind of convince people to buy into all that rhetorics covered subjects. It's translated as 话术. Again, it's a tactics. It's about a speech. 手术 is the, I guess, even further from what is its appearance, like your hand tactics. Like, what is a hand tactics? It's unfathomable. Like, what if you're talking about study or speech, it's kind of relatable to the English concepts. But okay, it means surgery. So I guess when the Western medical approach was introduced to China, so somebody have to translate what is a surgery. I'm not sure if ancient Chinese doctors even do surgery. I doubt it. We don't open people up back then. I think mostly it's used Chinese herbal medicine to cure people, and at most, zhenju, the punctuation, or chiropractic, or massage, something external, but not cutting open and taking things out. That's Western medicine. And Chinese translate that, opening up surgery procedure as hand tactics. So the surgeons have to carry out by hand. And that's an interesting mapping of Western. And it's a tactics, like how you approach it so people don't die. You still save the life, but you manually cut out the bad part, something like that. So here to visualize what is the tactics. I guess the chessboard is probably the closest thing because we have to think about the pathways where we're going, and because this is a game, it's a two player, so everybody have to respond to the other side and reconsider every step of the way to negotiate between the two players. So that's tactics. Thank you for your time. See you another day.